Hi, everyone, and welcome to Procure Pulse, the managed services podcast that provides you with current trends, best practices, and the latest supply chain news to help you stay informed. I'm Mickey Meehan, your host, and I'd like to invite you to email us with questions at info@conductive.com or connect with us on LinkedIn by following Conductive or on Twitter @Conductive Inc. Thanks so much for joining us today. Let's get started. Welcome to Procure Pulse, the podcast for third-party services. I'm Mickey Meehan, and I'm the host of your podcast today. Today, we're going to be covering the topic, how to plan for an unknown future. In the last year, hospitals across the nation have experienced extreme deficits. Unable to hit savings goals due to the COVID-19 pandemic, we are going to take a look at how hospitals can begin to build a plan to recover from the hard hit COVID had on their financial health. Earlier this month, we talked about some key takeaways from the pandemic. We reviewed what healthcare providers can learn. I'd encourage you to go listen to that episode, which was hosted by my colleague, Anna Ormiston. You can find it on our website, conductive.com. Today, we're going to jump into our episode on how supply chains can plan for an unknown future. We've mentioned before that the cost of purchased services is steadily increasing. In fact, a Kaufman Hall study found that hospitals saw a 16% increase in the cost of purchased services in 2020 from 2019. So, as the only thing that supply chains can count on is a rising cost in healthcare, how can they begin to develop a plan for a future when there's no saying how the future will play out? One of the first and most important steps that a healthcare provider can take is to make sure they have a handle on their data. So many organizations that we go into have stressed that once they get a handle on their data, they'll be in a better place. And the reality is that so many organizations today rely on somewhat old school practices when it comes to their data. Their purchase services are decentralized from a management standpoint, and there's no single point of truth. Providers also rarely do data audits. They partner with a consultant team who comes in, gathers their data, makes recommendations, but then they wait another 1 to 3 years to regather their data. They're hit with a paper tsunami at the end of those consulting engagements when these consultants basically come in and renegotiate every contract to expire again in 3 years. In every other area of major organizations, we understand the value and we have platforms that keep us up to date on our current data. And ERP for supply is a perfect example of that. That way we're able to adjust as we go along. So even though the future is unpredictable, businesses are still able to adapt and build a plan. Hospitals today need to invest in platforms and technology that provide real-time updates. That way they can truly build a structured plan around their data and react to those changes as they happen throughout the year. Second to finding the right tools or partners to help you get a handle on your purchase services data is building out a governance process. Now, you might be asking yourself, what do I mean by a governance program? What I mean is that organizations need to be willing to build their programs from the ground up. A strong governance model is dynamic. It's customized to your own organization, and it delivers strategic guidance on how you can leverage your organizational structure to get buy-in on sourcing processes and protocols. A governance program gives businesses the operational architecture to facilitate collaboration and maximize your returns on purchase services, ultimately making sure that you're getting the best service for your health system at the best price with all of your stakeholders on board. You may be wondering how you can go about building your program governance. Maybe you've tried before, but haven't been able to create sustained change within your program. Maybe it worked for a while, but maybe we threw it away when COVID started. You haven't got the buy-in you need yet from decision makers to begin even strategizing in this way. This is where finding the right purchase services partner is so key. Purchase services programs are not one size fits all. That sort of approach doesn't work because every organization has a unique structure, history, mission, and experiences that they are bringing to the table. What you need is a group of people who know how to ask the right questions, who know how to truly diagnose your program and then identify a solution and work collaboratively with your team to bring it to action. One of the first things we do when we are working with an organization is sit down with teams to really understand what are your current processes, what are your historical processes, and what are your goals. Once we truly understand what organizations are trying to achieve, we can partner with your team to provide you with the tools that you need to succeed. We can help you identify and gather analytics and intelligence and build the foundation that will help your organization reach your purchase services savings goals as you scale. In fact, we have just launched a diagnostic tool that is available for free that will help supply chain teams identify where their purchase services programs lie on a maturity scale and how they can really proceed to unlock savings. If you're interested in this diagnostic, you can access it. Again, it's completely free by going to conductive.com/quiz. The third way that hospitals can prepare for an unforeseeable future is to find the right GPO partner for purchase services. Group purchasing organizations have always looked at purchase services, but haven't necessarily spent time specializing in that area. We created Conductive Contracts to be the first purchase services exclusive GPO. Focusing exclusively on purchase services allows us to look at the total value of suppliers and match that to the right hospital partners. Having a partner who knows categories inside and out in the purchase services realm arms your team with the knowledge and experience necessary to really grow your purchase services program, operate with a GPO in the way you always have, but have that experience tailored directly what's needed for services. In addition to getting a handle on your data analytics, building out a governance process, and finding the perfect purchase services GPO partner, healthcare providers need to build lasting partnerships with their suppliers. In a season as unpredictable as COVID was, we really saw that having a long-standing relationship with suppliers was the key to making sure that our bases were covered in even the most chaotic of scenarios. Now, this is something we dove deeper into during our last episode, where we talked about 3 key takeaways that we learned from COVID-19. I would highly recommend that if you're looking to grow or foster your relationships with suppliers, that you go listen to that episode. The final thing I want to just encourage you with is that it's never too late or too early to begin to set goals. Think about your organization's strategy and long-term goals, and then work backwards, setting departmental goals that will enable you to scale along with your business. Once you've set your goals, you can identify the KPIs that you'll use to track those goals, build out a strategy for tracking your purchase services initiatives, and then track progress against that goal. We've hit on so many key points today that examine how you can boost your department or organization's adaptability. But just like we mentioned earlier, building out a purchase services program is not always uniform. Each and every organization has unique needs, challenges, and goals that they bring to the table. That's why we're offering this free diagnostic tool so you can begin to illuminate a path to your savings to success. Take some time to take our program maturity quiz at conductive.com/quiz or email us at info@conductive.com to learn more about what your organization can do to begin to plan for the unknown future. Thank you for joining us today for Procure Pulse, the podcast for managed service leaders. It has been a pleasure to share with all of you. Reach out to us if you have any questions or ideas or best practices that you'd like to share. I'm Mickey Meehan, your host. Thank you for tuning in. We will see you next time. Have a great day.